Hello and welcome everyone to the European Research and Innovation Days 2022. My name is Chris Burns. I'm going to be your host for the next 2 days as we talk with researchers, with policymakers, with the private sector, with all kinds of people, and we're going to be in touch with you as well on how research and innovation can tackle the challenges of today. That includes the post-COVID recovery. That includes the green transition, the strategic autonomy, and in so doing, creating jobs, making our industries, our economy here in Europe more competitive. And joining me to talk about this is Signe Razzo, your Acting Director General of DG Research and Innovation at the European Commission. And Signe, what are your very top line, what are your expectations over these next 2 days?
Thank you, Chris. Many thanks to everyone following us from their offices, from home, as well as to the whole team who has been working behind the scene to make this thing happen. Today's event is about you. It's about our research and innovation community, who are advancing knowledge to solve the world's greatest problems. Indeed, this 4th edition of European Research and Innovation Days serves 2 main purposes. First, it's a policy moment to debate, to move forward the political priorities for EU research and innovation. It's the time of the year when our Commission services are focused on listening to concerns and expectations from Member States, the European Parliament, all stakeholders and citizens. Throughout these 2 days, we also want to hear from you on how to address the new geopolitical context, including issues such as food and energy security. Second, it's a celebration and community building moment. It's the time of the year when we gather everyone involved in EU funding, legislation and regulation to improve people's lives. It's an opportunity to network, to strengthen partnerships on the new European Innovation Agenda, Horizon missions, and many more important topics. In this sense, before concluding, I want to invite you all to register online to the new group of Friends of EU Research and Innovation. You will have access to the digital platform with exclusive content. Check our website and social media to register. Don't forget, we are always stronger together. This is why it's so important you are here today to shape together the future we live in.
Stronger together. That's why we're putting all our heads together over these next 2 days, Signe. And you mentioned just a couple of the topics of more than 40 sessions just today, right? Including, and some of my faves are innovation ecosystems, strategic autonomy, deep tech talent, I love that one, and women in research and innovation. Very, very important to promote their roles and their activity. We're going to be talking to founders and financiers, right? And we're going to have the award for Industries of the Future. So I'm looking forward to doing that with you. Let's talk about some tech tips. You mentioned a few about take a look at the platform. As you're watching this, on the platform you can see these different buttons to push, and please do explore that on the workshops, on the networking with speakers, as you mentioned, Signe. You can also have one-on-ones with policy officers. You have to book it though, so you have to be careful about that. There are exhibitions. There's the village. There's the chat box. We want to hear from you, and we want to hear from you and see you on the social nets. So hashtag RIDaysEU, hashtag RIDaysEU. Keep that in mind. And if you hear something, you want to cast it wider, please do. Send it out there on the social nets. Let's go quickly to a couple of Slido questions. We want to get your feet wet. A lot of you, most of you are so tech-oriented, you don't need to. You know this. You've been there, done that. But let's try to do this for those who don't. And let's make this an icebreaker, too, for all of you who do. Slido.com, if you go on there right now, you can also see, I think you can see that with the, yeah, is there the bug there to click on? Anyway, so you can go on there, and we're going to give you the first question is, how much do you think global warming will harm you personally? how much do you think global warming will harm you personally? From all those headlines you see, from all the extreme weather that we've actually been through, it doesn't just happen on the other side of the world, it happens here. A moderate amount, a great deal. So nobody's in denial there, right, Sinye?
No, no.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody at all.
We
Nobody
all
at
get
all.
it. We all get it. Okay, can we move on to the next one because we want to stay to time here. Yeah, that's good. Okay, here we go. Now, this is a little bit more thinking. Is lifestyle choices are actions that involve a deeper commitment to sustainability. Among them, eating habits can play an important role. As we did today at lunch here, there was some sustainable, right? We had a sustainable
Wow.
lunch.
Yeah,
right?
well, I'm amazed. Yeah, wow.
Which of the following behaviors do you embrace? And I'm having more oat milk with my coffee, I know that, and lots of cutting back on my meat consumption. There you go. Eat local and seasonal food, great. Avoid meat consumption, great. I think we have some good students here, Sinye.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
Great.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know what we want to do is tomorrow, we want to do a similar poll and see how much the conceptions have changed and the preferences have changed.
That
We're
would
gonna
be
make
interesting to see.
Yeah,
Indeed.
before and after.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see. I think we're good here. Yeah. Any more comments, or then
Well,
we can move
as
on?
we've seen that people are really agreeing that sustainability is good,
Yeah.
and they also have changed their daily habits.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's very significant.
As EU R&I days have done as well, haven't
Yeah,
we? We've changed, become more sustainable
Yes,
here.
indeed, and research is really a guidance here.
Yeah, yeah. We're also, you can see this, this is a hybrid event, and this also helps us shrink the footprint of an event like this one, as opposed to flying so many people over. We're actually connecting with a lot of people. Right?
Definitely, definitely. We will see how many there will be.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, great to see all of us together and connected here. Let us move on to the opening ceremony. Thank you very much, Sinye. We're going to be together throughout these next 2 days doing different things. So, and of course, we'll talk a sum up at the end of the day.
Thank you,
Sinye,
Chris.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next event with Commissioner Gabriel and yeah, here we go. So I'm in awe here. Am I on now? I'm so in awe here to be with Maria Gabriel, Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education, and Youth. I don't know how you get any sleep with all those dossiers at the same time, Maria, but because I knew you at first years ago, several years ago in the European Parliament, and you dealt with different dossiers, but I'm sure it was more of a limited set. You have much more to deal with as Commissioner now, don't you?
Yes, hello, Chris. I must say that Europe has plenty of talents, and then you have all these bright minds, from our researchers to our innovators to our people working in the education sector and culture sector.
Yeah.
You can only be motivated and mobilized really to do things that will support them. So for me, it's a great pleasure to be here together with all of you. Maybe I can start with a more official announcement. Of course, dear President of the European Parliament, she will join us in a few minutes. Dear ministers, dear members of the European Parliament, dear innovation and research community, dear friends, first of all, it's a great pleasure to be here to launch this 4th edition of the European Research and Innovation Days. Over the year, I must say that, and for that I'm so grateful to my team from Research and Innovation team, that we gathered thousands of participants coming from more than 188 countries. All this just really to show that excellence in research and innovation for us in Europe this is a driving force. So what we know, that is the 4th edition, and since the last edition, a lot has happened for European research and innovation. And yes, both the pandemic, the actual geopolitical context have proved the importance to shape new solutions to strengthen Europe's resilience and strategic autonomy. And the European Research and Innovation Days represent this unique opportunity to add your voice to the conversation on building up a sustainable future for Europe. Allow me to insist on some critical points. First, Horizon Europe. With Horizon Europe, yes, we have the most ambitious European research and innovation program with the strongest budget of 95.5 billion euros.
Right.
Well, now it's time to discuss the next steps for Horizon Europe. We need to define, together with all of you, new guiding principles, targets, to see what's happened the last 3 years and where there is a need to adapt, to intervene, to innovate. That's the strategic planning.
That's what we're going to be talking about, one of the issues
That's
these
very
next 2 days.
important. It's
right?
today.
Yep.
At the end of this first day,
Right.
we would like to launch this large process because, you know, the key word since the very beginning of these Research Innovation Days, it's co-creation. And yes, we stay loyal to the co-creation process. Second, I would like to insist excellence. Excellence needs to be reaffirmed as core to Europe's competitiveness. And here we already have excellent researchers. We have the European Research Council. This time what is new in this edition is that we'll discuss the new European Innovation Agenda. Because the new European Innovation Agenda aims to position Europe as a leader in the global innovation scene. And yes, our ambition is to support a pan-European innovation ecosystem which can benefit all regions, where the best talent work hand in hand with the best companies and no one is left behind. And it is now time to implement it.
And this excellence we're recognizing with the awards, with the industry awards today.
Absolutely, and that's a crucial moment because we can see that excellence is everywhere. We need to support them and to need to give them more visibility. Allow me to insist on a third point. It's true that we want to foster a fit for purpose, inclusive and connected pro-innovation environment to help Europe capitalize on its excellence, and this time I insist on a second word, creativity. That's why I would like to share with you how pleased I am that we'll discuss about the potential of cultural and creative sectors. Because cultural and creative sectors are key assets for Europe. They contribute to nearly 4% of our GDP. And yes, for the first time with Horizon Europe program, we created a cluster dedicated on culture and creativity. And the budget is 2 billion. So now we need really to see how with member states, with the stakeholders, we can unlock the potential of the innovative ecosystem that represents cultural and creative industries and sectors.
I think New European Bauhaus is one of them, isn't it?
New European Bauhaus,
Yeah.
the Cloud for Cultural Heritage,
Yeah.
will have the occasion to discuss all this in details. Fourth important point, and I think that there is a lot of people looking at us and waiting for this message. Please be sure and count on my firm support. Of course, I'm talking about the role of our excellent universities. We have our European strategy for universities. For us, it's sure that if the future of Europe, you would like to transform it into a success story, we need to stay based on our capacity to address the skills needs. And that's why we need here to deepen the ties between the higher education sector, the surrounding innovation and industrial ecosystems. And you know that our President von der Leyen already announced that 2023 will be the European Year of Skills. For me, our universities are drivers for our better future. So we have multiple occasions to discuss about this. And here I would like to insist on something that we'll have the occasion to listen for the first time. Remember, in June, we created the European Network of Innovative Universities. Right. Only 3 months later, they will present their work and step forwards during this edition of the European Research and Innovation Days.
I might mention that I have a bit of skin in this game because I am a European citizen, despite my California accent, and my son is studying in Belgium, and he aims to become a bioengineer. So he's very much listening and watching what we're talking about today.
it's absolutely important really to break the silos, to work together, to transform the beautiful word synergy into something operational, tangible, and above all beneficial for our citizens. And that's why, yes, I insist again on this key message, and we'll see that during the European Research Innovation Days, is that research and innovation policies bring key actors together. Industry, universities, national and regional authorities, civil society. And that means, again, the example is that we are working actually on a new generation of European partnerships. Yeah. We'll have the example of hydrogen or clean aviation, but that's something that we need to continue to build together with all of you. And finally, don't forget, I remember I was here for the very first edition of Research Innovation Day. And since the last 4 years, for us, citizens are at the heart of our policies. That's why, again, during these Research Innovation Days, we'll discuss where we are with the missions. Mm-hmm. Remember, that was presented as one of the main novelties on the Horizon Europe program. Now we are implementing those missions, and that's why we need, together with the mayors from across Europe and the boards of the missions, to discuss how exactly we'll implement these missions, especially because citizens are those that will make these missions beneficial for us, for the places where we live, for us as Europe, and the future that we want. So yes, if I have to resume, I think that with these Research Innovation Days, with all of you, we are sending strong messages. First, research and innovation, education and culture are catalysts for paving the way towards sustainable societies and strategic autonomy. Second, we need effective synergies at all levels between programs, sectors, policies at European, national, regional and local level. And third, I think that you can see our initiatives are here to support and to continue to support our talents, our young people, not only during the European Year of Youth. Yes. And we need now to encourage our young people simply to think out of the box. And I'm sure that they will surprise us. Finally, continue to engage citizens. Without citizens, we'll not be able to achieve all those results that innovation and research are giving to us. But for that, yes, if I want to say one simple sentence, and you know me, dare. That will be really dare to bring new ideas, dare to be bold, dare to be innovative.
I think that's good for a hashtag RI Days EU to send out on the social nets. Maria, thank you so much. And stay with us. I also want to call on the President of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola. Roberta, please. Once again, I am also in awe to be with both of you, who I know well from the Parliament, for European Parliament. And Roberta, welcome. I know you have a very, very busy day, as does Maria. So great to have you with us, because it's so important to, when we make this research and innovation happen, we got to have the Parliament behind us. And we are aware that the Parliament sometimes debates, and it's difficult to manage, and you're there at the helm.
Well, thanks a lot, Chris, first of all, for having me here. Maria, thank you. I think I have to start by saying that these Innovation Days would not be possible without the leadership of Maria, and it's a pleasure and an honor and a privilege for me to be able to engage in a discussion, not only of what we've done so far, but also of where we can go. The European Parliament is a constructive partner of the European Commission. We're not only legislators, but we're also politicians with citizens asking us to do more when we're talking about innovation and research, and this is what
you got your finger on the pulse. Yep.
We have to. We have no choice, Chris. No choice.
Absolutely. So what do you hope to see from these 2 days that would hopefully encourage your fellow members of Parliament to support research and innovation?
Well, first of all, I think these days are taking place at an unprecedented time. I heard Maria earlier talking about similar events that took place over the past few years, where the European Union has really been a leader in making sure that we push and we press the right buttons and make sure that from an innovation perspective, the funding goes where it has to be spent. But this year is a particular year. First of all, we're no longer just talking about the digital and green transitions in the context of recovery and resilience from a pandemic that this world was not prepared for. But we're also talking about the need for us to focus on climate change with renewed ambition, on energy with the challenges that it has been, that we are faced with.
On strategic autonomy, that's the
on strategic autonomy of the EU.
discussion.
And all of this requires innovation, first of all, in terms of the footprint that we have placed. Secondly, in terms of the fact that the EU sometimes lags behind when compared to other continents in innovation. And thirdly, in making sure that we recognize our needs and look at what legislative tools and funding tools we have, not only to equip our researchers, not only to equip our universities and the funding that they need, but also to make sure that from an employment perspective, there's enough work that can be put into an area where, you know, I think other continents sometimes go further.
What do you think the European Parliament itself can do to support this vision of this innovation agenda? We're going to talk a minute about that.
Well, the Parliament at the moment is discussing the situation of an unprovoked illegal invasion by Russia into Ukraine. And all that has an impact on what we discuss here. Whether we're talking about how we are going to uncouple from our dependence on Russia, then we need innovation.
Yeah.
We need to be able to invest in renewables faster. We need to make sure that our funding structures are more easily accessible. But we need to research quicker and invest. I have spent my few months since I've been elected President of the European Parliament, traveling from member state to member state. And Maria and I will actually travel to a couple of them together in order, first of all, to see some of the best examples of where Horizon funding was put to such fruition that we are leaders in the world, in industries that we can really compete in. And this is where the European Parliament is a co-legislator. We have a committee that is specifically dedicated to research, to industry, to technology. We are co-legislators in terms of financial decisions. But you will find an institution, again, with 705 members that is being asked by its citizens to do more in this area. And this Parliament is extremely ambitious in that regard.
So how important is that support from the European Parliament to you, Maria, in making that innovation agenda happen?
Well, I must say that since the beginning, the European Parliament is our strongest ally. When we talk about the Horizon Europe program, that was not possible to achieve this biggest in our history budget without the support of the European Parliament. Something else, some of the main novelties in the programs, without the support of the European Parliament, it's simply not possible. We are talking about missions, we are talking about European Innovation Council, we are talking really about all these things that are directly linked to the daily lives of our people. And for the innovation agenda, since the very beginning, the European Parliament was extremely active. Because especially with the innovation agenda, somehow we decided to change our approach. And this approach is very close to the manner that the European Parliament works. Because first, we established a dialogue with all the stakeholders of the ecosystem. The group of unicorns, the startups, the venture capitals, or the women founders group. And that was the actors of the ecosystem that they told us what to do, where we need to intervene, where is the added value. And that's why in the new European Innovation Agenda, we are saying Europe, yes, is a leader in science, leader in some very strong industrial sectors. And because now there is a new wave of innovation, which is an extraordinary combination between industry and science, Europe has to be present, have to support and have really to invest massively. And that's the new European Innovation Agenda. We would like now to go really more rapidly because citizens are asking us to do more. At the same time, yes, insisting on our main strengths. That's our talents, that's our regions, that's our innovators, that's our researchers. But this time, since the very beginning, Europe is leading the way.
That's what we're going to be talking about over these next 2 days, where necessity breeds ingenuity in some ways, really, from what we see geopolitically and so forth.
Absolutely.
President, Commissioner, Roberta, Maria, thank you so much. This launches officially the EU R&I Days 2022. And next, we have the new European Innovation Agenda, as we were kind of talking about just now, at 14:15 CET. And after that, there will be 5 parallel sessions at 14:45. And EU RI Days EU is the hashtag. If you heard anything just now, please send it out. See you then.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you today to the first plenary session of the edition of Resident Innovation Days organized in 2023. I'm very happy to have you today, in particular because we start with what else? The new European Innovation Agenda, a new political initiative under the leadership of Commissioner Gabriel, which has been adopted by the Commission. And it is, of course, innovation in the heart of European growth. Innovations in the heart of our expectations on how we can address the societal challenges. So we are going to have a very excited panel with distinguished speakers, starting, of course, with Commissioner Maria Gabriel, Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education and Youth. Minister for Education, Youth and Sports from Czech Republic, Vladimir Paras, who is connected with us online. We're expecting the Vice President of European Parliament, Mrs. Eva Kaili. She has some connection problems. She will be with us very soon. And last but not least, Juan de Anodonio, the CEO of a very successful, innovative company, the KBC. And of course, he's the one who tells us his experience from innovation. So without any delay, I would like to pass to the first question to Commissioner Gabriel. You have been the one developed the vision for this innovation agenda, and you put your whole heart to deliver it. Why such an ambitious agenda now, dear Commissioner? And what will be the difference, the added value for the innovation stakeholders?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anna. Dear participants, well, I want really to believe that the 5th of July, when we adopted the new European Innovation Agenda, that was a turning point for how innovation is made in Europe. Because I think that on the one hand, it updates first the Innovation Union policy from 2011. I'm saying very often we are not living anymore on the same planet. But this time we are putting the focus on our talents, our startups, our innovators. But on the other hand, with this new European Innovation Agenda, we would like to position Europe at the forefront of this fourth wave of innovation, the so-called deep tech innovation. Because I think that the innovation agenda looks into the future, the deep tech innovations, startups, that have different combination of components, and digital, and physical, and biological. And I'm so glad that we have with us one of those innovators. We are really very proud, because that's, for me, innovation made in Europe. But of course, for me, what I would like to insist is that we need to seize the opportunity. We are witnessing a new wave of innovation. This wave of innovation is different because it's offering concrete solutions for our daily lives, in the sector of energy, and we all see the context around us, in agriculture, in health, in transport. And when we talk about deep tech, 94% of the companies that are in this field are addressing sustainable development goals. So with this new European innovation, what somehow we are saying is that, yes, we were late as Europe to ride the digital innovation wave, but we are now at the forefront of a new wave of innovation thanks to this new European Innovation Agenda. And I think that I can resume that we can base our leadership at least on 4 competitive advantages. First, Europe is a leader when it comes to scientific publications. We are a leader in science, and Research Innovation Days are here to show again the excellence of our researchers. Second, we have a very strong industrial base in areas like energy or construction or agriculture and food. And these are the areas where the fourth wave of innovation will be definitely crucial. Third, more universities in the European level have plenty of talents, and we need this strong pool of talents to encourage them to see Europe as their home, where they can see their ideas, their projects developed, and for that they need support. And finally, the new wave of innovation needs a diverse range of resources that can only be provided by the diversity of the regional innovation ecosystems in Europe. So I think that, yes, 4 competitive advantages, 4 reasons to say that the new European Innovation Agenda, it's our solid base to transform Europe into a global powerhouse for deep tech innovations and startups.
Great. So a turning point is going to transform our powerhouse. So I would like, you spoke about digitalization, and I would like to welcome Vice President Eva Kaili to our panel and to ask her directly the question. As Commissioner spoke about digitalization, how do you believe data and the digitalization can drive the innovation in Europe?
First of all, thank you for inviting me and hosting such an event and discussion, and also to thank not just the Commissioner, but the friend to me, Maria Gabriel, for her leadership. I think it's important that we have a very strong woman leading R&D, this European innovation agenda. It's extremely important, and it shows the how decisive Europe is to lead in the future in this sector when everything is being transformed with the new technologies. So I think for Europe there is a great potential, not just of the economical benefits, but even benefits for every sector like transportation, for developing and improving our own industrial strategy, improving our health strategy. And of course, we've seen the challenges, the recent challenges in the energy sector, and the necessity of innovating with new technologies to achieve sustainable and alternative energy resources with this technology. So I believe that it's extremely important not just to understand, having the foresight and understand where the world is going, but also to be clear about what you want the European position to be. I think we are lagging behind, but in terms of quality and research, we are leading globally. We're lagging behind in some key digital technologies, also because we want to make sure that we will have GDPR implemented, we will manage to proceed based on our value chain and principles. One of the problems we also face is lack of talent in EU, or having talent leaving the European market. So I think it's extremely important to improve and harmonize the single digital economy market, and to be able to unleash its power and its benefits. Coming together, all these legislative efforts, I believe they will achieve that, and they will put us on the driving seat for the future. We've been working on the DSA, the DMA, now the Artificial Intelligence Act. Personally, I'm working on the European health data space. I know how extremely important it is even for Nobel Prize winners talking to us and asking for access to quality of data. So I believe that since deep tech requires deep commitments, this agenda has the ambition to achieve that. And I believe we are managing to highlight and show what is our goal, and that we are determined to do that, and we are working hand in hand with the Commission. So I think this is extremely important to be proactive for the future.
Thank you very much. Quality, excellence, leadership. Dear Minister Balázs, you are representing the Czech presidency, a so-called widening country. What are your expectations from this new European innovation agenda to address the innovation divide in Europe, which persists?
Well, dear Madam Chair, to start with, let me state that the Czech Republic, as the current presidency of the Council, highly appreciates and welcomes communication of new European innovation agenda that was published early in July this year, as Madam Commissioner already mentioned. And it is indeed very timely to pay our utmost attention to the European innovation ecosystem. And of course, what we would like to see is innovation as something that significantly contributes to the competitiveness and economic growth, and of course, to prosperity in Europe. So, I mean, innovations generally should provide some solutions to some pressing societal challenges, such as the climate change or energy supply, and not only these issues. I mean, we are facing war, and we need to strengthen our strategic autonomy in critical technologies. And And this is something also that is important for strengthening the European innovation ecosystem. And unfortunately, as we already heard, we've got really perfect science. We are global leader. I mean, Europe is or has been global leader in scientific knowledge production, but we are still lagging behind our main competitors in valorization of this research. I mean, the application of our research outcomes to practice and is really something that is that would be strengthened and supported, in fact, and we have also some other mottos in Czech presidency, and I mean also sharing the knowledge among all member states and scientific and business communities is also something that is really important. And it's not that easy to do it, but we should definitely strive to support it. And this is why we should or we have to enhance the business and entrepreneurial capacities and capabilities of research and innovation actors. So we must intensify uptake of emerging technologies by innovative enterprises, and of course it was also mentioned not let our talents to leave European Union, just provide them the space in which they can do what they know the best, and not to allow some brain drain outside Europe, because we are not. Well, although European Union is quite strong, we are not that rich to allow this. So there are many issues we can really mention, and of course, I think this is quite important for us to push it forward. More expedient way. So, and allow me one concluding statement. Innovation is a key to ensure competitiveness, economic growth, and prosperity in Europe. And given that, we should strive also for the balanced dispersion across the European Union, because the whole EU can only be as strong as its weakest part. And I have discussed that in a meeting of leading European research universities in Prague, and ask them for supporting also excluded areas in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You talk about business. Juan, you are representing the business side. What do you expect? How you think this new agenda will be beneficial for the business and for innovative companies?
It's an honor to be here. I feel really fortunate and proud to be European. That's a good way to start, no? But I would also like to acknowledge that Europe is the role model of a developed society. People from other developed countries aspire to live here. So we have something great, but our future is uncertain. I think we all acknowledge that the future of the next generations of European, of their prosperity is at risk. Our position in the global landscape will be determined by how well we do in new industries, by how we innovate in areas such as deep tech that Maria was mentioning. No? We must continue creating opportunities for economic development and social improvement, while at the same time fostering innovation and sustainable growth. We have heard that we have some work to do to catch up with other regions in this regard. And I wanted to use an example. If we were to aggregate the market capitalization of the biggest European technology companies, their combined value wouldn't reach 30%, 1/3 of any of the biggest four in the US. So we are improving, but we need to do so faster to leverage this fourth wave of innovation. I would like to highlight 3 areas that are, from my point of view, needed to achieve this technological sovereignty that is a must for Europe. Number 1, attracting talent. We've already talked about it. We need a fair playing field to be competitive with other countries. Specifically, stock options would need to be taxed as they are elsewhere. Otherwise, we are not a competitive alternative for talent. Number two, single market with cohesive regulations. This is important across all industries, but much so if we want to generate European champions in the tech world in strategic areas. And number three, focus on scale-ups. Within startups, we need institutions to support the growth of strategic scale-ups by not introducing arbitrary constraints that are aimed to protect languishing incumbents. Let's talk instead about industrial reconversion to avoid leaving people behind, but let's not constrain the growth of the future of Europe. I'd like to finish with a very optimistic conclusion. We've come a long way as a society, and it is up to us to leverage technology and innovation to extend prosperity to our future generations. So let's do it together.
Thank you very much, Juan. And I would like to finish with a last word from our commissioner.
Well, first of all, big thank you. I think that you can all see that we are speaking with one voice, the European Commission, the European Parliament, the Member States, the innovation community. And believe me, that's something unique that we have here. We agree that we need definitely to invest in talents. We need really to define together what are the strategic areas in which we'll support our European champions. And for that, what I can see that together we can implement now the new European innovation agenda. We have 25 actions. Everything on what you insist is there. I would like definitely here to say that we count on your support. If you'd like to have 1 million talents in deep tech, if you'd like to have 100 regional innovation valleys in Europe, that really that can be realized only if we work together. And that's my final word. Big thank you for your support. Stay mobilized. Only together we can succeed.
Thank you very much, dear Commissioner. Many thanks to all of you. And I would like to ask the audience to stay tuned because we have 5 very interesting parallel sessions that we start immediately on the 5 flagships of our communication. Accelerating scale-up in Europe, framework conditions for innovation, pan-European innovation ecosystem, deep tech talents, and women founders and funders. See you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.